This week on Healthy Living, we look at tuberculosis, an ancient disease known as the world's most infectious killer, and what new solutions may help win the war against TB. An expert shares some thoughts. Plus, a cafe in Kenya gives a unique opportunity to people with cognitive disorders. These stories and more in this edition of Healthy Living. Hello and welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Mkamiti Kibayasi. Yes, we can end TB. That was the theme this year for World TB Day, recognized globally on March 24th. Tuberculosis, or TB, is a bacterial infection of the lungs. The disease can also affect any part of the body, such as the kidney, spine, and brain. Spread through the air from one person to another. Medical experts say TB is one of the world's deadliest diseases. Nearly 1.5 million people die from TB each year, according to the World Health Organization. WHO says TB deaths in Africa have decreased by 26% between 2015 and 2021. However, there are still some major challenges, including limited access to health services, inadequate health infrastructure, and insufficient quality of care.
Cameroon's hospitals record high number of tuberculosis cases in hospitals, despite the disease being underdiagnosed, health experts say.
According to WHO estimates, we should be around 47,000 cases of tuberculosis every year, all forms included. But unfortunately, we notify every year around 25,000 cases. So for the year 2022, we have notified exactly 25,286 cases of tuberculosis, all forms included, without forgetting our little ones, who are also underdiagnosed with only 5% in Cameroon, including all forms of tuberculosis, while they are expected to be around 10%.
Initial treatment for diagnosed cases lasts 6 months when patients are unable to tolerate the effects of medication. However, in drug-resistant cases, the treatment can last up to 9 months or more.
Among our patients followed up in 2021, we had 5% of our patients who were declared lost to follow-up. We did not hear from them until the end of their treatment, after they had taken the treatment for 2 months.
And such cases require additional care and attention by healthcare providers.
It's among these patients who have developed non-compliance that we have multi-drug resistant patients. Colleagues in the field are well enough trained to first test and see if they're still eligible for treatment of susceptible tuberculosis. Otherwise, we'll have to put them under a more complex regime, which is the treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, which lasts up to 9 months, even 11 months.
Drug-resistant cases in the country are also underreported.
According to WHO estimates, in 2022, we were expected to have 350 cases of multi-resistant tuberculosis. But we have only been able to diagnose 174 cases of multi-resistant tuberculosis. And unfortunately, among these multi-resistant patients, there are some who refuse to be put on treatment. This means that out of 174 cases, there's a gap of 21% of our patients who have not responded to the call for treatment. So they remain in the wild and continue to contaminate the population. With this, we are really at risk.
The country has introduced a protocol in 2021 whenever there are drug-resistant cases.
We are called to monitor patients during 4 months of hospitalization in the intensive phase so that the treatment is well followed. 4 months during which he takes his treatment, fasting under the supervision of the nursing staff. After the 4 months of the intensive phase, the patient is called to follow the last 5 months of his treatment in an ambulatory health center near his home. There will be no more injections in this protocol because it has been withdrawn according to the latest recommendation of WHO, which gives a chance to our patients to follow this treatment well and to be declared cured at the end of the process.
The government has made tuberculosis treatment free of charge with assistance from donors and partners.
The treatment of tuberculosis in Cameroon is already accessible throughout the national territory in our 3,027 diagnostic and treatment centers. It's a treatment that lasts 6 months of the pharmacosensitive form, with 2 months of intensive phase and 4 months of continuation phase. During the intensive phase, the patient is called to take 1 tablet, which is a combination of 4 tablets. And during the continuation phase, he is called to take 2 tablets, combined into 1.
Cameroon's national plan states that the country hopes to eradicate the disease by 2035.
What innovations and new solutions can help move the needle further in the fight against tuberculosis? Here is some insight with Snorre Westgaard, chairman of Humana People to People, HPP.
Africa is one of the continents most affected because it's mainly in low and middle income countries that are affected by TB. And one of the reasons is also because there has been developed of new strains of drug resistance TB. So while drugs have been developed and successfully treat TB, unfortunately, these new strains of drug-resistant TB has also come forward. Drug-resistant TB in the start developed because people did not adhere strictly to the medication. So because of dropping out and then maybe going back again on treatment or a second drug, and then dropping out again, this developed drug resistance in the TB strains. And then, unfortunately, a person can pass a drug-resistant strain to another person. First of all, communities should be aware, so they they know that TB is a curable disease, so it's also a preventable disease. So people should be aware of it. And then when somebody in the community gets the disease, it's important that they are supported. So that sometimes the whole family should be tested because there's a risk that they have been infected. One of the main challenges also in treating or in ending TB, if you have symptoms, you should take a test. Our experience is that, for example, in the countries where we work, we have reached around over 3 million people with information about TB, and then maybe 10% of those actually have symptoms, and then 10% of those, 12% of those with symptoms test positive. So even if you cough or you show symptoms, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have TB. But it's very important that you come forward and you take a test. Because then once you test 100 people, maybe around 12 of them will actually have TB. So that's why community mobilization and outreach is very important to find those who do not think it necessary to go for testing. Preventive treatment is a way to prevent that more people in that near family get TB disease. So that is an innovation, and which is introduced in some countries. It's also about mobilizing necessary funds. So we have global fund for TB, HIV/AIDS, TB, and malaria. As the theme says for the World TB Day 2023, it's yes we can stop TB. So we can. It's a question of investing enough resources and energy, and also doing it together, everybody putting their heads and hands together. So I think it's very important to fight stigma, and this is a disease that we all need to address heads on.
Countries in Africa remain on high alert regarding an outbreak of Marburg virus. At least 9 confirmed cases and 20 probable cases have been reported in Equatorial Guinea since the outbreak of the deadly disease was declared in February, according to the World Health Organization. Marburg virus disease is a viral hemorrhagic fever that can have a fatality rate of up to 88%. Tanzania reported its first outbreak of the deadly viral disease after 80 people developed symptoms including fever, vomiting, bleeding, and kidney failure. 5 of the 8 patients have died, and another 161 possible contacts are being monitored, according to the WHO. Uganda has ordered health officials to step up screening along its border with Tanzania following the outbreak. Other countries such as Kenya and Cameroon remain on high alert. There are no licensed vaccine or approved treatment for Marburg, and medical experts say supportive management improves survival. Kenyan Diana Ayira struggled to find a safe space in the capital for her daughter, who has a few neurological disorders, so she opened her own. Ayira's Neuro-Soul Café not only welcomes people with cognitive conditions such as autism, but it also employs them and educates the public on neurodiversity. Victoria Amunga reports from Nairobi, Kenya.
18-year-old Natasha Mwangi's efforts to find a job were futile until a month ago when she got a job here. Natasha, who was born with cerebral palsy, welcomes guests at this cafe that offers jobs to people with neurological disorders.
I'm happy and at the same time excited. Thank you.
Ayira's Neuro-Soul Cafe is the first of its kind in Kenya. The owner, Diana Ayira, says the name is derived from her now 5-year-old daughter, Ayira, born neurodivergent.
More and more I get parents approaching me and asking me, can my child come and work for you, even if it's for free? I will even pay you. And I told them that is not the essence. My essence is to empower them so that the society, not only Diana can absorb them, but other people can.
Guests at the cafe are also educated on neurodiversity and how to interact with neurodiverse adults and children, including through art.
You're just seeing this person for who they are beyond any extremities that they have or anything that they might, about them that might be different.
Common neurological disorders include autism, dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD, and cerebral palsy, among others. These conditions are triggered by genetic predisposition and events during pregnancy. According to the US-based Center for Neurodiversity and Employment Innovation, unemployment for people with such neurological disorders runs as high as 40%. Experts say that in Kenya, lack of understanding and proper education is locking out many highly talented individuals out of the job market.
Having transitioned maybe the education system where their unique and very unique needs were not taken into consideration, then there's a very high likelihood that they will end up also not having their potentials and capacities fully identified and picked, and then this goes now to limit what we are talking about, the working space.
Neurodiversity is an understudied and underreported field, especially in Africa, according to the Neurodiversity Center. Diana hopes efforts such as this will help to educate and sensitize the public. Victoria Amunga for VOA News, Nairobi.
That's our show for today. For more health news, wellness tips, and medical breakthroughs, stay connected to Voice of America at voaafrica.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Mkamiti VOA. Until next time, stay well and strive to make every day a healthy day.